All right, everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball here for the Week 13 Sunday chat. Obviously, we've had the conversations we're gonna do a little bit different, little things that we thought maybe what might be a little still, gonna change a couple things up. So obviously, you'll see something a little new going into this video, but obviously one big constant. Let's get right into this week's news.
Yeah, so starting off with one of the big news headlines I have from recently, I think this was yesterday, I believe. Roger Goodell, he announced that he does want the tush push banned. I guess basically him wrapping up saying that I guess it's not fair. Well, I can speak for most of us saying the tush push it is annoying, but I mean you can't ban a play just because it's working. I mean let's be realistic here. I mean if you're on the 1 yard line, I mean it's just a quarterback sneak. To be honest, I mean, sure, yeah, I get pretty annoyed by it, but I wouldn't just get rid of a play just because it's like too overpowered.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta look at it that way. Just because a team's succeeding doesn't mean you gotta, nerf the play. I mean, it's not to the same level, but back in 17, 18, the Rams were so heavy on the jet sweep, and no arguments to ban the play there. It's just a stupid argument. Let's just get that out the way right there. Of course, we're going to move on to one of the more dysfunctional franchises in the NFL, probably the most dysfunctional at this moment, in the Carolina Panthers. And, obviously, they got rid of Frank Reich, and the coaching search has obviously begun. There are two main candidates that we're kind of looking into, and honestly, you get a little worried for them that you think, I mean, obviously, their big target, Ben Johnson, the OC of the Detroit Lions. He's obviously, probably going to be one of the more coveted coaches coming into the next window. And that's why you would think, it's probably not realistic for the Panthers to get him, if we're being honest. It's probably, the least desirable destination for a coach right now. So going into that second option, Kellen Moore, which obviously, Christian, you know a lot about him. We saw how dysfunctional he was at the tail end of his Cowboys time, and right now how dysfunctional his Chargers offense is. You'd be really worried for the development of Bryce Young. So that's it's definitely a lot more to come. I mean, Greg Olsen did say that he would be open to the position if it was available to him. Probably a little outside shot, but it's looking pretty bleak for Bryce Young's development coming forward.
Yeah, honestly, this next coaching decision is really gonna say a lot about the owner Tapper of the Carolina Panthers, because like he hasn't been well with getting these coaches right. I mean, we saw with Frank Reich. I honestly said I never really liked that hire, and we saw how it really turned out. And obviously, like you said, right now for Bryce Young, it's still a lot to to develop for him. And speaking of Bryce Young, there were conversations with the Carolina Panthers in the past week that they were trying to bench Bryce Young for Andy Dalton coming into this game. I mean, I don't really like this. I don't really like going for Andy Dalton. Sure, yeah, I've had my little things about Andy Dalton, about him just doing these master classes here and there like last season. But obviously, if you want to develop Bryce Young, especially with the team that's surrounding him, benching him is just boosting his confidence down like even more. Obviously not starting out well for the next season. And I would rather have him finish out the season, still continue to play how he is, and then in the off season just do a lot of preparation to improve that team.
No, yeah, I mean, but I think the main thing that the Panthers were looking into is, I mean, probably not the best way to do it, but they were trying to shield him. They're trying to protect him moving forward. Why are they gonna trot out their very raw quarterback right now, which he definitely has potential, but at this point in time he's just not ready, and with the team he's got around him, you can obviously see why. Of course, moving into one last bit of news coming in here with the New England Patriots. We know how dysfunctional their quarterback situation is. Well, their entire team has been horribly dysfunctional. Obviously, we already got word Mac Jones is officially benched. It's been considered for a while now. Bailey Zappi will be starting. And another big key thing to talk about here, their rookie undrafted free agent quarterback Malik Cunningham he does have a package of plays that is kind of being a little game plan being set for him in case he does see action, which honestly, looking at the way both Jones and Zappi have been playing, I would definitely expect Cunningham to see some action, and we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe he can be the answer to at least make this team watchable moving forward.
Yeah, obviously, Patriots another one of the dysfunctional teams of the season, and with the whole quarterback situation of Mac Jones, and I guess going to Cunningham, I guess they're already fed up with Mac Jones. It's pretty been obvious for a month or two already. So see, just gotta wait to see what Cunningham can cook up with this, and see where the Patriots go from there.
Yeah, obviously. So we'll move this into cash or trash. Obviously, we're gonna skip fantasy out of this. Obviously, we kind of had a conversation that it is getting a little redundant to just talk about our team week in, week out. So gonna have a little segment to throw in a little bit. But obviously, last week we did have the tight ends, and it was it was definitely one of the weeks with obviously you went with Dalton Schultz, the former Cowboy. You're really hyping him up. Dropped 1.2 for cash, so obviously not much going there. Njoku gave a solid game for a tight end, to say at least, at 11.9, so take the win there. And for trash, you went with Jonnu Smith, and I mean, couldn't get much better than what he gave you. He got a fat donut for you. So Michael Mayer did have a donut going into, I believe, like 5 minutes left, but made a couple catches and he got himself to 4.7, so you get the win there. But obviously we will spin it right back to quarterback. Obviously this to this point, we always say, it's the fourth time around now. There's still a couple good pieces to look into. So for me, I'm gonna keep it in one matchup, and to start it off for cash, I'm gonna go Justin Herbert going against the Patriots defense. Don't really need to say much more there. It's kind of gonna be just the easy call here. He was kind of probably the best available option at the moment. Even with Keenan Allen at the moment, he is questionable, but he is expected to play, so I'm expected top target to be there. I mean, the receivers and most of his weapons have been a little iffy this season, but regardless, against this defense, I see no struggle for the Chargers, and keeping it in this game, I'm gonna go Bailey Zappi for trash, which we don't even know if he'll play the full game, so this could be a little cop out for me, but at the end of the day, the Chargers defense is kind of, they're on and off. You never know when they're going to have an on day or an off day. Going against this Patriots offense, you can kind of foresee a pretty slow day for the Patriots, probably slower than what they're used to. So going to have to go with Zappi here.
Yeah, now moving on with my picks. For my cash pick, I'm going to go with Brock Purdy. Sure, yes, they are going against Philadelphia. It's going to be probably the best game of the week. Most likely going to be one of the best games of the season. But, with the way Brock Purdy, after that 3-loss streak, the way he's been producing and, finally getting his weapons back, I probably expect a good game against Philly regardless. And then for my trash pick, I'm going to go with Will Levis. One of the guys that, we hyped up after one game, and he's kind of, she's kind of struggling a bit, obviously, with the Titans, but especially with who they're playing, I think Will Levis, he's going to have another shit show.
Obviously, that ND defense can be a little, just like the Chargers defense, you never know with them, so I could definitely see that there. And of course, moving into our final topic, we've been kind of discussing this for a little bit, didn't really know if we really wanted to do this, but we decided to finally get into some college football. So obviously the conference championships just wrapped up yesterday. Got a lot of great games that we did get into there. Obviously, I'm more well versed in the college game. Obviously, you kind of of course we both really get into USC, but I actually kind of pay attention a little more. So now Selection Sunday is today. The official bracket will be announced in a couple hours, and we're kind of just gonna give it a crack. We originally thought we were gonna have some comparisons, but we came to an all-out consensus, so we're kind of just gonna show you our bracket and see what the committee has to say in comparison. So right off the bat, the first team, you gotta say a big consensus. I mean, the 1-2 were the consensus, and gotta go with Michigan. Easily the top team in the nation. You do have an argument for Washington to maybe make that jump just because of how dominant they looked against Oregon. 2 big wins against another top 5 team, and also, I mean, Michigan did look a little stale against Iowa, but you can't throw too much recency bias in here. It's a full season type of argument. So easily Michigan at the 1, Washington at the 2, the 2 consensus, and in my own opinion, an easy consensus to give Texas the number 3. The key thing we got to think about here, the big win against Alabama in week 2. That's obviously the win of the season easily, because now obviously looking into Bama and Georgia, how the SEC championship went. You got Bama over Georgia. You can't have Texas under under Bama right now because of that big win. That kind of negates the entire point of the college football playoff, and that's the point you got to go with here. Now, obviously, for the fourth spot, highly controversial to many, but we are going with Florida State. The easy argument here, you can't leave a 13-0 power conference champion out. It's the easy argument here. I get it. Jordan Travis, he's out. They look like a way weaker team. Obviously, they played a pretty ugly game against Louisville. So, you can obviously see the argument. I honestly do think the committee is going to put Bama in. But obviously, this is our opinion. This is what we think is going to happen. What we think should happen. Let's put it that way. And honestly, Florida State's defense, I do think is going to be the factor that should get them in. But at the end of the day, it's a little hard to tell. But, obviously, leaving Bama and Georgia out, this will be the first year the SEC does not have a representative in the college football playoff. Definitely going to be big controversial. And obviously, this is the big topic, why we need a 12-team playoff moving forward.
Yeah, so obviously, we thought we were gonna come to a slight disagreement here, but we just happen to have the same ones. But I think along what looks like a pretty reasonable record. I'd be not necessarily shocked if Bama and Georgia get up there in the top four with probably I guess bias, but they did lose to most of the teams on here. So Michigan being the top team right here, especially being the Big Ten champ, I would hopefully see Michigan there at the top one spot. But regardless, I think these top four choices are probably the right moves to go.
Yeah, of course. So, you mentioned, we do expect Michigan at that one. And so all that's left is, they are the ones. So which bowl are they going to pick? They do get their choice. And, we do pretty much expect Michigan to go with the Rose Bowl. Honestly, whichever one of Michigan or Washington. It's traditionally a Big Ten, Pac-12 matchup. So whoever gets the choice probably will want to go to the Rose Bowl. And they'll get FSU in our projections, so definitely a nice matchup to look forward to there, hopefully. And obviously for the Sugar Bowl, we would expect Washington and Texas, obviously two great enticing matchups. We will just have to see what the committee has to say about that. Of course, that is going to wrap us up for the Week 13 Sunday chat. Let's see, a little different from what we're used to, but obviously gotta throw out some little experimentation for the moves we want to make on this channel. So of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you guys can stick around for many more, and we'll see you for the next ones.